guys, welcome to a very overcast day. I hope you've had a great Christmas and a great New Year, which is still to come in a couple of days time. I just want to have a quick chat with you about my camera change. As the title suggested, I've decided to get rid of the RX100 camera. There's a few issues that I've had with it, or issues more like dislikes I suppose. I'm using the Canon EOS R today, as the other one is all boxed up. But from a video point of view, lightness, being able to put it onto a selfie stick, it was absolutely fantastic, and the 4K results that came out of it were great. And I did have issues with it with picture profiles. I tried H-Log 3, but the bit I found really annoying was, being a photographer as well, is every time I wanted to change back to shooting still photography, I had to then go back and change the picture profiles over. So the RX100 didn't seem to store the picture profile, one for video and one for camera, so that was a real annoyance for me. The other issue that I had with it was, again, being a stills photographer as primary, although I do enjoy doing the videos as well, was the fiddliness of it. It was just so small, even with a cage on, to get the settings right. There was one single button which you had to then change the shutter speed and the aperture as well, and I just found it fiddly. It just took the fun out of the using side of it. So I decided to part exchange it. I've got something else which I've got lined up. I'm not going to tell you what it is today. That's going to come in the next video. Some people might say it's a little bit of a back step, but from a usability point of view, it's still compact and delivering similar results as well. I think it might be a little bit more up my street. As I say, I'll point it out and tell you all about it in the next video. Now, a few other things that I found a little bit annoying with the RX100 was when you had it up in flippy screen. Again, it was lovely and light to use, unlike this Canon R, which obviously makes your arm hurt very quickly. Once the screen was flipped up, the actual screen functionality was very limited. Everything else had to be done from the back of the screen, which was just a real faff, so I didn't find it very user-friendly to be doing that with it. Again, it's little things like that with a camera. If it's not easy to use, then it takes the enjoyment out of it. So a couple of other bits that I found a little bit frustrating from a stills point of view, and again, it is a compact camera, so results are never going to be as good as something like the EOS R full frame anyway, was the noise that the images generated. I always shoot in RAW. That's just what I've always done. And a lot of the time I had to do quite a bit of work to get the images back to a point where I found them sort of usable from a noise point of view. Now the JPEGs, obviously Sony's doing something clever inside, because the JPEGs were coming out not too bad. You did have to use a bit of noise reduction in the RAW files, I found, to get them back. But as I said, to get some cracking pictures out, and the fact this camera was so portable, it always have it in your pocket, was great. And here's a couple of pictures that I've managed to get. This one was a burst shot of about 25 shots that I took, and then I merged them into Photoshop to give the effect of being a long exposure shot. And I've done a little blog on my website, which you can have a look at this if it's of interest to you, just how I managed to get around doing it. So things like that I thought were really great on it. Also this picture, it took a little bit of work to get it up to what I was happy with an image. So yeah, so there's definitely a few things that niggle me with this camera. That's why I decided to move on. If it's not right, it doesn't feel right in your hands, it just doesn't feel ergonomically that you want to use it. Sony, great cameras, but unfortunately the touch menu system on the back, I think it's dire. The menu system needs updating. Now, disclaimer on that, when my Canon was out of action, I used my little Sony camera pretty much all the time, and I did get used to the menu system, but going back to the Canon one, it's just so much nicer to use. The touch screen, I just don't see why Sony hasn't got a decent touch screen on it, and there will be the purists out there that say, no, you don't need it, but to me, I love it. So that was another reason for getting rid of this little camera. One of the big things that I need from this camera, not the EOS R, because I think that's a cracking camera, so I think it's one of the most underrated cameras around at the moment. There was a lot of negative press when it first came out, but I think people are realising now that it's actually a very, very good camera. But it is heavy, it is big, and for vlogging, and for just very lightweight travel, it's probably not the most ideal camera for that, which is where I thought the RX100 would be absolutely spot on. And it ticks probably 90% of the boxes for me, apart from usability and being able to feel happy with it. So that's what I'm going to look for in the new camera. It has to be very lightweight, has to have good stills, good video, and be portable, so that I can just fling it in my pocket if I don't want to take the big one out, and then I can go out and use it, especially for travel. I did used to have a Fuji X-T3, which again was almost ticked to the boxes again. Really nice camera usability wise, but again a little bit on the heavy side, and some of the lenses were a little bit big, so too close to the ESR in that sense for being my choice. So the new one's going to be turning up in the new year, which I'm really excited about. I'm hoping it's going to be a little bit more suited for my line of shooting and video work, so we'll keep our fingers crossed and hope this one is a little bit better for my needs. As I said earlier, I said nothing against a Sony, it's a cracking camera, and I think if you're especially coming from a Sony background, I think the little RX100 is great because you'll be used to the menu systems and that sort of stuff on it. For me, not quite right, as I say. So I'll talk to you in the next video, show you exactly what I've bought, so hopefully it won't disappoint.